All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this podcast, Communism is a Meme, hosted by Gabe, Jansen, and Jonathan Howe, as you can see from our beautiful faces here. Hi, Gabe, how's it going?
Going, awful because, quarantine.
Because we haven't been able... See, I think it's actually funny because being in California, we, literally the entire state has pressured the governor into starting to reopen stuff because he's been being so stubbornly tyrannical about it that everyone's just like, look, man, that's neat, but we're going to go outside now. I heard we were at this store that stores are allowed or have been starting to allow to reopen this Friday. And we went to one and we were talking to the store owner and she was like, yes, I was talking to the chief of police the other day and he told me you could have opened a month ago and we wouldn't have cited you because we don't agree with what Governor Newsom's doing. So down here in California, the entire state is just like, we're not gonna, we want to open up because we're tired of this. It's a great time.
That's pretty cool. Oregon's similar, but we won't actually do anything. There will be no action taken. We all hate it. But will we do anything? No. We're Oregonians. We don't have time for that.
That's fair. That is that's Oregon. That's how Oregon works. So then,
how we are, unfortunately.
Yeah. So this is our first podcast episode for it. We might do this more. This might just be a one-time thing for the podcast contest. That so far we're winning by default because no one else has really shown any initiative to go after and make a podcast. So winning by default.
True.
Woo!
And so it is a way to win.
That is the best way to win. There's one episode of Teen Titans Go. I will be the first person to say, and the last person to say, and every person to say in between, that Teen Titans Go is a train wreck nightmare that needs to be destroyed at all costs. However, there was one episode where they were in some dodgeball tournament, and I watched this back when I was 14 and was bored out of my mind and had nothing on TV. And they were losing because they didn't actually put in any effort, but the opposing team was the villains of the universe. So they basically just called the cops and they came and arrested them in the final match. And it's and so it's congratulations,
wow.
You've won by default because your opponents were arrested.
Wow.
And all that I learned from that is winning by default is the answer. So if no one else makes a podcast, we've won by default, which is the only way to win.
Personally, the conclusion I would have drawn from that episode is that if you call the cops on your opponents, everything will work out.
It's just like swatting someone in a video game. Just find their address and swat them, and it'll work out perfectly. They'll have to drop out.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, But, actually, life hasn't been too terrible because today I went on a hike and I saw a waterfall that was off the path and we parked illegally on the side of the road. It was great.
I was actually looking at those pictures earlier. What was that Multnomah Falls or where was that?
No, that was just a random waterfall that my brother and cousins found some time ago. Last summer.
Wait.
And he's just like, come on, we're going to go look at it. And it was just in the middle of woods. There were no paths to it.
Question though. Did you guys have to hop a fence to get to this waterfall?
No, we did not have to hop a fence, but we had to go through a lot of trees and stuff. I have many scratches on my legs I did not have.
I don't even. So
my shin.
You weren't technically trespassing, but you could have been trespassing.
There was a path near it.
All right. Okay. Cool.
You just couldn't see it from the path. So we basically fell down a hill to get to it, and then I drank from the river. It was great.
All right. So if Gabe dies from a parasite in the next couple weeks, it's because he drank the water.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I use filter.
Nice.
So there's a good chance I won't die. But if I do, you know why.
Yeah. All right. If he dies, dibs on his duck.
Oh no, that goes to charity.
That goes to charity. It goes to a charity auction, selling Gabe's stuff for money. That's the only thing that makes money besides like in technology things that Gabe owns, because like everything else Gabe owns, no one cares
It's going to
about.
be labeled as an exquisite art piece, and then people are going to pay millions for it. Why? Because they think it's modern art, because I hate modern art.
You know, before this quarantine hit, me, Brooklyn, Kyle, and then one of Victoria's previous roommates, Allie, and one of her friends, Talon, were in the coffee shop having a discussion about, is modern art art and what constitutes art? And it was so ridiculous because Talon was stuck on the idea that modern art was not art because he said it involved no technical skill, and art is only based off of technical skill, which I could get into that for hours. Kyle and Brooklyn remember that. We're not really going to go into that, but that was just a fun time listening to this man hammer into the idea that that's not art because it doesn't require the skill that I think constitutes art. It's a great time.
I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I've seen modern art where it's literally just like you take a red paintbrush, like a paintbrush, dip it in red, go make those swirlies like the loop-de-loops on a campus, and then he didn't title it. And then he made about a dozen of those of varying scales on canvas, and that was it. They each sold for millions.
I think, really quick question. You said he made them of varying scales, so was it like the exact same one, just larger each time? Or was it just like a larger set of the same style?
No, it was the same thing.
Okay, it was the same thing.
All entitled.
I think, okay, I have a brother who's an art major. He'd probably know more about this. There's something about like 6 points of art which constitute like what art is art. And if it focuses on one, like there's like line, form, color, and some pieces of art will focus on just one specific of these forms or things. I can't remember. Again, I'm not the art major. I just remember a conversation I had with him. But so there's a chance that that art was considered art because this artist was focusing on the aspect of ratio or something like that. Even then, I don't know. I didn't pay millions of dollars for red swirlies on a canvas, so I'm good.
I found the red swirlies.
I feel like we should divert you from the red swirlies before you go into a rage on how the red swirlies aren't art.
You know, that's probably for the best. Anyways.
All right. So one thing I want to talk about before we get into the rest of we have 3 main segments today that we're going to go through along with just some general stuff. First of all, the name of the podcast. What is Communism as a Meme? Well, quite honestly, I think Nate posted a meme today on the group chat as I was sitting there trying to think of names for our podcast because we went over, or at least I went over, like, first of all, rude. That wouldn't have been a bad one.
No.
I also wanted to maybe make some pun off of like meme kind and mankind because like we're for the good of meme kind, but I didn't like the flow of that one. And then I was looking at this meme that Nate said that was just it's not called stealing memes, it's posting our memes, and it had a communist flag in the background and a cat, and I looked at that, I was like, communism is just a meme at this point. I was like, communism is a meme. I like that because I don't know, it flows well. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. It sounds like a good title of a podcast, even though I'm going to be honest, most of our things are going to have nothing to do with communism, but that's fine. It's okay.
They don't know that. Communism is just a joke in itself. Great.
Like, both the idea of communism, because communism is just, it's so bad, but also just that communism is a meme. Also, Matt's probably going to be, like, having a heart attack as I'm sitting here saying that communism is bad, going, like, communism's the economy of heaven, screaming at the screen at us. It's fine. Hi, Matt. How's it going? Make a podcast, put it into the contest. But, yeah.
Matt knows I was going to say something mean, but I'm not going to.
We won't insult the other people if they're not here to defend themselves.
Exactly.
Maybe again, if this podcast continues, if we have enough fun and people like it, we'll start bringing on special guests for the sole purpose of being allowed to insult them because they'll be here to defend
Honestly,
themselves.
that sounds like a great idea to me.
All right. So now we're going to head into our first segment, which is Meme of the Week, heading with our theme. So basically what this segment's going to be is it's going to be me and Gabe looking at memes that we saw this week. And they don't necessarily have to have originated from this week, just something we saw this week or that has been really popular that we're like, that's a good meme. We're going to discuss them and we're going to discuss why, like, just what we enjoyed about them. And then if we want, Gabe, I don't know, do you want to choose like what we think? Because right now we have 3 memes. So should we pick one
True.
that is the meme of the week, or should we just show them in a general? I don't care. I just enjoy memes. Like,
Yeah, I'm not super picky with my memes. I think we should just show them generally.
all right. The good communism meme theme. Communism is a meme. Make that a catchphrase. So these first memes, these are my meme picks of the week. So this first one. I love this meme. First of all, Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite Disney movies that I never remember until someone brings it up. I don't know why, but like I don't actively think about Emperor's New Groove until someone says like, do you like Emperor's New Groove? And I'm like, heck yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It's
But
been
so,
many years since I've seen it, but
it's so good. We used to play the VHS tape at my dad's office. Like, as kids, we'd have to go to my dad's office where he had all of his work going, and we would just sit in the break room and watch movies once we finished our homework. And this was one of them that we had, like, the VHS for, so we watched this one a ton of times. But anyway,
very nice.
so the meme this week is that's another one for Apocalypse Bingo. Because there's just been so many things. There are the murder hornets. There's the fact that the Pentagon released UFO pictures. There was like an earthquake in LA, I think. There are just so many things in these last couple of weeks where it's just like, oh, one of my favorites was like Saturn has a moon that's shaped like the Death Star. And it's actually like a moon that has a nice big crater. And then someone just took that and put on, that's another one for Apocalypse Bingo. And I enjoy that meme. Like, the Kronk memes have made, I don't know. I enjoy all the Kronk memes. Some of my other favorites have been, oh yeah, it's all coming together, and no, he's got a point. Like, just, I don't know what it is.
All of them.
They're just like, the minute I see them, I'm like, that's a keeper. That's a good one. And then my other one, I don't know who, like, if the people listening to this podcast have heard, Kyle's probably heard. Elon Musk had a baby, and they named the baby X, and then it's technically AI. It's like this symbol where I thought I saw it and I thought it was the logo for American Eagle because it literally is like an A and an E mixed together where like there's like the A right here and then this line goes into the E. It's a symbol like that, and then A12. So it's X, this AE symbol, and then A-12. That is this child's name.
And I think I read somewhere that it's pronounced Kyle.
That's I don't know if Elon Musk has confirmed that, but what people did is X, the Greek symbol for X is pronounced Chi, and then the AE symbol is it's like Elven for AI, or like I, or like love, or something like that. So Chi, where I guess they're taking the Chi and then I, and then A12, so they're being like, L is the 12th letter of the alphabet, so Kyle, which I don't know what Elon Musk thinks about this, but honestly, I'm probably just going to call the baby Kyle because I'm also never going to interact with Elon Musk. Like, it's not like I'm going over to his house this week and go, hey, Elon, how's Kyle doing? Like,
how do you even pronounce that?
I don't know. Like, to be fair, Elon's an interesting person, but gonna be honest, bruh, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, he's a bit erratic at times.
Like, Elon's definitely been a little hot in the memes. Actually, for the first time in a while, he's been hot, but in not a good way, where he's been popular, but for bad reasons, because first of all, naming his baby Kyle, or the weird spelling, but then also he had something where he disagreed with how the government is handling the coronavirus. Also, oh no, I'm not sure. I think we can. I might put this on YouTube, and YouTube sometimes flags things that say coronavirus. So if they flag this, oh well, I'll just make it private. I don't know. But he said something where he didn't like the policies of it, and he like swore 3 times because he's annoyed because businesses are really getting hurt, and he thinks everyone, or the way it's being handled, is poor. And so he's just been in a lot of hot water lately. But being Elon Musk, it spawned some pretty hot memes. Like, almost anything this man does is going to become a good meme. Yeah.
True.
And so then, Gabe, if you want to describe to everyone your
a living
meme,
meme generator.
this beautiful meme.
Now this brings me emotional joy. I looked at it and I laughed, and it's thought provoking, heart wrenching, and it tickles my funny bone. Because you see over there on the left side, it's on the left is Kornobi, and on the right is Bananakin. And it's clear that this is obviously a reference to the poetic movie, was it Revenge of the Sith, I believe?
Yep.
Yes, it was a poetic reference to the Revenge of the Sith, showing the inner trauma of both of these incredibly complex characters.
Okay, first of all,
I love how they had their final battle on. I can't.
I love how you described that. Like, first of all,
it shows their inner. Okay, I can't go on.
Just how you poetically like made the feels from describing this epic scene of just perfect. It's so good. Like, that just made my day. Plus, I have to say, this Lego set came out in, like, I think it was a couple months ago, and it took all of my restraint as a tier 2 adult to not purchase it immediately. Unfortunately, the Lego set did not come with the banana outfit corn, which, if Lego made that an official set where they're just like, here, you have your regular Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, but if you want to spice up the scene, throw them on Cornobi and Bananakin. We think the Mustafar scene didn't have enough yellow, so we threw in corn and a banana.
It was
but
beautiful.
no, like,
I don't.
It's a beautiful set.
But anyways,
it's a beautiful meme. Gabe sent this to me earlier this week, and I didn't have the same reaction as Gabe, but right here, the feels.
Yeah, that right there, that description I was first came out, all came from the heart, right here in the heart.
Thank you, Gabe, for just really opening up your heart to us on what's important.
You're welcome.
Bananakin.
And Kenobi.
Yeah. So on this topic, kind of, I had someone one of my friends sent over a different group chat I have. They sent an animation that someone did of the Princess Bride scene where Wesley is on the cliff and Inigo Montoya is up on top. Have you seen Princess Bride?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. So it's the cliff scene where he's sitting there hanging off the edge of the cliff, except it's animated, and they made Darth Maul as Inigo Montoya at the top of the cliff, and Obi-Wan is the one just hanging onto the cliff.
I saw this as well.
It was so good. I was watching, and like, whoever did it, they didn't just use the same voices. Like, they used basically the same lines, but they actually used the voice, or like kind of imitated the voices of Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it was beautiful, and I enjoyed it. And if I could put videos on this PowerPoint that I'm using as the imagery, I would totally do that. But I don't care enough to do that, so it's fine.
That was true.
It was quality. All right, so moving on to our second segment, what are you playing? So this segment is pretty self-explanatory. It's what have you been playing? What are you doing this week? Just a general, like, what media has helped you survive the madness known as COVID-19 quarantine? Ah, yes, that mute. Good job. Ain't nobody want to hear you cough, you sickie. No, it's okay. But yeah, so this...
Don't judge me.
I have allergies too. I can judge you if I want. But this one's just honestly
don't do it.
Don't do what? You said don't do it, so I stopped. Gabe, what's happening?
What?
I heard you say don't do it, and so I stopped, and I think you didn't want me to stop talking. I think you were saying don't judge you or something. I don't know. It's fine.
Maybe. I don't know. I forgot already. Moving on.
But yeah, so for the people listening, which again is probably just going to be a friend group, what are you playing is just Game and I talking about what video game, what Netflix show, what music, what literally anything has been helping you survive the COVID-19 madness, which, seeing as it's the 21st century, it's probably going to be something video games or TV related. So, hence the segment. Gabe, would you like to kick us off with what are you playing?
Sure. I've solely just been playing Fallout New Vegas. It's old. Came out in 2011, I believe. So, you know, it's 9 years old. Well, I feel incredibly old. But anyways, I put enough mods onto it to make it so the game broke, you know.
As you do.
It's the game. Yeah, I know. The game itself, it starts with, you know, you getting shot directly in the face, you know, and then you getting up and being like, I'm going to hunt this man down and shoot him in the face. Because, you know, as one does.
Yeah, as one does.
Apocalypse. And eventually you get a choice where you battle in a war for Hoover Dam, you know, historical monument. Quite good. And you can either help a republic that started in California, an empire that's based around the Roman Legion, a crazy, well, not crazy, but immortal man who rules Las Vegas, Mr. House, or you can just kill them all and take it yourself, which is what I did. I killed them all and broke my game thoroughly while doing it. Great.
See, I hear that, and I've played on a Minecraft server with you where your entire goal was establish your dominance over everyone else. And so we made the mistake. It's not actually a mistake. It was a fun server. However, when we, I was talking to, I think, Kyle and Nate, and when we make a new server, we're not going to do this. But for this server, everyone decided to make all of their houses in the same area, which was great, except for when you accidentally made Gabe mad, Gabe just took it as time for divine punishment. Like, let's go. And he would run up and, like, I didn't care about getting armor and stuff. So I'm always sitting there like I'm barely wearing any armor. I have an iron sword. Gabe comes up with an enchanted sword and diamond armor. Just like, yes! And so hearing you say that your
I didn't do that many times.
You didn't do it to me many times, because I also didn't make you mad many of times. But like there were plenty of times where we just hear Gabe yelling at someone to come over here and die because they made him mad. Like usually Kyle and I don't know, Amy sometimes.
It was basically only Kyle.
Yeah. But so hearing that in this game you have the option to just kill everyone and establish dominance, of course that's like, if Gabe didn't choose that, then who are you and what have you done to the Gabe we know? Because that is what Gabe does. Gabe just...
I don't know.
Yeah, so, nice.
Great game.
One thing I find interesting about Fallout that I actually didn't know until I had a friend who played it, because I haven't been able to play them myself, but one thing you don't realize about Fallout being kind of outside of the fandom is that there's actually a lot of it to the game that's about, like, modding and or, like, you can make. It's not like the same as making things in Minecraft, but depending on the Fallout game, I don't know if you can do this in New Vegas. I think my friend was doing it in 4. Like, you can make, like, custom or like, you can basically take areas and build them and customize them to how you want. And there's a lot more, like, I kind of just imagined like it was kind of an action first-person shooter game, and there's a lot more to it. And which, when Gabe says there are mods that he puts on, like, I never think about mods, but like, yeah, that's actually a big part of the Fallout games, from what I'm aware.
Like you can also, in Fallout 4 you can build up settlements and like make a huge trade network throughout the entire wasteland. And you can also, there's also a mod for New Vegas that allows you to do that, to build settlements wherever you want. And one of the more recent, I find some of the more interesting mods for Fallout New Vegas that was tied to one of the add-ons that basically replaced it, was it took the story of a man called Joshua Graham, who was a member of the Legion, which is the Roman Empire thing.
Okay.
They're basically the bad guys because they have slavery, women are second-class citizens and only ever slaves, children are taken from birth, male children are taken from birth, and basically trained to be soldiers. They're the bad guys. Like, they're grade A bad guys. And he came from a place called New Canaan. He was a Mormon. But, like, in the Fallout universe, Mormons, they don't have Mormons. They're just Christians, but they just use the word Mormon because they're from Utah. Don't ask.
Okay.
And basically, he committed, like, all the atrocities because, you know, it's the wasteland, and he's part of a slaving empire. But eventually he fails, and so Caesar, you know, unironically, he calls himself Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
Kills Joshua Graham. Well, tries to. He covers him, pitch, slides from a fire, throws him down the Grand Canyon. But he survives. And he makes his way to New Canaan, where his people, his people forgave him, took him back in, and helped heal him. And the legend of the Burn Man started. But so, yeah. The mod I installed took a different turn on that, where they took Joshua, but instead of having him go right back to New Canaan, took him to a place called the Zion National Park, which is an actual place.
Okay.
And basically, you had a choice of how to help him. You could help him, one, return back to New Canaan and find his faith back in God. Two, take control of the Legion forces there and have him wage a bloody campaign against Caesar's Legion. Or three, live in peace with the tribes because there's a bunch of tribals in Zion. I helped him. I'm gonna let you guess what I did.
My guess is that you were gonna do option 2, where he takes control of the Legion and goes to fight Caesar, because that has the most death and slaughter and you asserting your dominance.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. I did the first option. I helped him find his faith back in God because I thought that was pretty cool.
All right.
It made me feel happy.
And I mean, to be fair, as Christians, we should celebrate options like these. So, yeah, that also makes it sound like I think we just need to jam Christianity into everything and celebrate anytime something remotely Christian happens. I don't think that's true, but I do like the option.
That's kind of what started me into the Fallout series, because, like, even in Fallout 3, like, the game starts basically with your mom and dad creating a project that will be able to purify millions of gallons of water, because all the water is radiated, dirty crap. And the code to actually start the purifier is Revelation 21:6, which if you read it, it talks about that. Let me pull it up. It's the Revelation 21:6. It says, "And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him a thirst, the fountain of the water of life freely," which they took in a literal fashion in the game and actually made water that was safe to drink for everyone. And the code to actually activate it was 21:6.
Nice.
And so that's part of the reason I got into the Fallout thing, because they really super blatantly just threw Christianity right in there, like really subtly in 3 with just one verse. But
see, if I'd known that was why you got into the series, I definitely would have defaulted to you picking option 1. However, only knowing about your desire to slaughter things in games that make you upset, I assumed you'd be like, this Caesar guy kind of just Shrek'd me, so let's go Shrek him back.
No, I super hate him. I've never completed a game where I've sided with Caesar. And I've played hundreds of hours in that game.
All right. Fair. Cool. So then we're going to move on to my section for time's sake, because I don't actually know how long we've been doing it. We've probably been doing this for like 30 minutes already, something like that.
Yeah. Like it.
What have I been playing? I've been pressing play on Community. I actually finished binging Community over this last week because it got put on Netflix, which, while I had the opportunity to watch it on Hulu, I'm not, like, I don't pay for the Hulu that has no ads. And so once I found it was on Netflix where I could binge it with no ads, I spent all of my time binging Community because I had nothing better to do.
Wow.
And then a connection to that is once I finished, I accidentally, the other, like, I want to say it was Thursday of last week. So not this last week, but the Thursday before. I was finishing up some physics, like, lab reports that we had to get turned in. And it was like 3 a.m. by the time I finally finished it. And I got into bed and I was about to fall asleep. And sometimes I listen to things on YouTube to help me fall asleep. And I made the fatal mistake of just looking down the recommended feed as opposed to looking at things that I needed. And I found this thing called the Darkest Timeline Podcast, which is Ken Jeong and Joel McHale from Community doing a podcast that revolves around both it's a recent podcast, like it's not an old thing, it's happening week by week. It started way back. Basically, they were bored and they were like, wow, we have nothing to do because we're in quarantine, let's do a podcast. No relation to what we're doing right now. And so I found this at 3 a.m. and it was episode 5 and it was an hour and 40 minutes long. And I was like,
Oh my word.
Goodbye sleep. I don't need sleep. I need answers. So
Wow.
I went and I listened to the entire, and like the worst part, like for me, I might have been able to fall asleep to it, except for they've been getting other characters from Community to come on as guests every week. And that episode happened to have Allison Brie, who plays Annie. And Annie is one of my favorite characters among like the entire show of Community. So the fact that they had her, I mean, to be fair, pretty much most of them, like if they had a Britta episode or like a Shirley episode, I probably wouldn't have cared too much. But like Allison Brie is one person that I really care about. So it was just like, nope, I'm listening to this whole thing. I'm getting to bed at like 4. This is a great time. It was a great time. I've been enjoying that. I don't know. I would recommend to anyone who's listening / watching to go watch Community. It's a great time. Quality show, except seasons 4, 5, and 6 are not as good as seasons 1, 2, and 3, which is sad, but it's fine. It's a great time. Plus, go watch and or listen to the Darkest Timeline podcast because that's what I've been. So with like now having nothing to do since school's over, I've been doing a lot of woodworking projects, which you'll get to see later. I've been doing a lot of woodworking stuff. And so all of the woodworking tool, like saws and sanders and everything you use to make wooden objects is really loud. I don't know if you know this, but just a table saw, really loud. Belt sander, really loud. Just a normal hand like sander, really loud. Drill press, really loud. And so I've taken to putting on these headphones because they have noise canceling, like active noise canceling. And then I'm sitting there, since I'm using them to block out the loud sounds I don't want, I'm like, I might as well put on something I do want. And so I've been using the Darkest Timeline podcast to basically block out the world and help me ignore that life sucks because COVID.
Nice.
I looked at Gabe's face for a second there, and I don't know what he's looking at off screen, but Gabe just is looking at something else. He's really focused, and I don't know, something about his determination to whatever was off screen for a second just made me. I don't even know what happened in my brain, but I saw that I was like, all right, okay. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Very nice.
Next week's probably going to be Animal Crossing for me.
Mine will still be New Vegas, but with different mods.
It's okay. You can either talk about those mods or we'll just ignore you for that. We'll just be like, no one cares about New Vegas, Gabe, and then we'll move on. You know, make you feel good about yourself.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
But yeah. All right, then. So now it's time for us to move on to our third and final segment of this podcast. And I'm going to go up and close the door to my room really quick because this third podcast, this is a creator favorite of ours, and we think it's going to become a fan favorite. This is, so to preface for how I came up with this segment is I was thinking about things, and some of them might have been like the wonderful friend and RA of mine, Sir James Patrick Donnell. And he has this, he once said to me this thing about like, I, as a straight man, should have the right to be able to admire the beauty of another straight man, or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, don't you?
And it's beautiful.
You know what's happening.
So, without any further ado, the final segment of this podcast is I'm not gay, but that's a fine ass.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Also, so I made all of the PowerPoint stuff for this, and so for everyone who's listening, oh good lord, this man right here, this is Ricardo. He's been a meme since I don't know how, he's been a meme for a while now. I think he started last years. But it's from this video of this man basically dancing in almost nothing. And so the memes were really funny. And so I knew that I wanted Ricardo to be part of this slide image thing. But I've never watched the video of Ricardo dancing. And it is so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what kind of person looks at that and actually doesn't want to curl up and just cringe themselves to death watching the video, because it's so uncomfortable watching this man dance in almost nothing but a bandana and a red, white, and blue like thong. It's real weird, but it's a fine ass. And then this one over this is just Star Platinum. It's a JoJo's reference. I don't think any of you care, but it's totally a JoJo's reference, and you should go watch JoJo's. So then, for person of the week that we've chosen this time, I was looking at it, and I was trying to find people we knew, because it's not like, I'm going to be honest, part of the I'm not gay part means I'm not taking pictures of our straight friends' behinds all the time.
True.
So
You're not.
I was looking and hoping to find something. And I went on to James Donnell's Facebook page, because I was like, maybe I can use James. And he had this picture from PVG. So we are assuming that the person on the screen right now is Daniel Bennett. Daniel, if you want to get in contact with us and let us know if this was you. But so the full picture was a bunch of PVG dudes, and they were just all smiling, to take a picture showing off these shorts that they had, that I'm assuming they say something on the bottom. I can't remember. I remember James talked to me about it because it was fun.
I can't, honestly, it's too distracting to read the words, honestly.
We won't worry about it. But so then Daniel was like raised up above them somehow with his hands to the wall, just in this pose. And so I don't know. I couldn't tell from the picture if it was actually Daniel. But it's such a Daniel thing to do. And look at these sideburns. Like, that's a pretty Daniel sideburns. I'm almost positive these are glasses. Like, it's probably Daniel. So this week for I'm Not Gay, but That's a Fine Ass, we are going to be rating probably Daniel Bennett. So Here we go. First of all, I'm gonna have to detract a little bit of points, just because the form factor based on the shorts, you don't get as good. You don't get as good of contouring as you want. There's not as much definition.
When I look at it, I feel like there's something in his back pocket which just takes away from it.
That's true. Honestly, okay, there are these little triangle bits right here, and it reminds me of early 2000s animations when on kids cartoons, when they had to draw females and they didn't want to be super really detailed, and so they would just give them triangular breasts. That's kind of what it's reminding me of a little bit. Just weird triangular butt cheeks, Daniel. I don't know. That's the form. It loses a little bit of form, but the way he's presenting, the way he's pushed it out, and he's really just on display for the world. Like I gotta give him props for that. Like that man is not ashamed. He is he's really working that. And I mean, I can't actually read what that says, but he really wants us to, he draws the focus down.
Yeah.
It's just,
he even shadowed his face, which makes it difficult for us to know who he is. He wanted to be an anonymous man with a famous ass.
Yep.
You know,
this is what. Except we've guessed that it might be Daniel, but other people watching this, they're gonna have a really hard time, especially if it's like, if I send this to my brother isn't gonna know who Daniel is, except that we said his name multiple times. Also, Daniel, if you have problems with that, I don't know, copy strike us or something. We're gonna act like this is a real podcast, but let's be honest, only our friends are gonna listen to it, so you'll be fine, Daniel. It's whatever.
If you do copyright us, fight me. I'll be in the Clackamas Town Center Mall every Wednesday from 4 to 5.
Is the mall closed right now?
Yeah, that's why I'll go to the parking lot, because it's empty. Hats in hands. Nothing for you to hide behind, Daniel.
Gabe is just going to go out and angrily pace the parking lot waiting for Daniel to show up every 4 to 5 on Wednesdays.
Yeah, you better show up.
Daniel, who lives out in Tri-Cities, Washington, who has no reason to drive like 3 hours to fight you.
Hey, I said if he copyrights me. If he doesn't copyright me, then he won't have a reason to fight
This is
me.
true. This is very fair. All right, maybe we'll use this as bait. So he'll copyright us, and then you'll want to fight him, and then while you're fighting him, I'll run out with a spoon and I'll throw it at him, and it'll be a quarantine spooning, and he'll have got spooned. And as long as he doesn't listen to this podcast, he won't know of our plan. So
True.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
So then back to the purpose at hand. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be said. Oh, I mean, actually, I will admit.
Homo.
Oh yeah, true. No homo. That's very fair. Because remember, I'm not gay, but that's a fine ass. And so, I don't know. I think the shading's pretty good. I think I'm gonna give it like I'm gonna go 6.5. Like, it's not a total. It's better than average. There are some faults. There are some like
a solid 6.
Okay, a solid 6. Like the triangles are a little distracting. Maybe if you wore some tighter pants. The shading's not terrible, but like also the low definition, because he was in the back and I had to like crop it to bring him forward technically, and like I can't add pixels.
Can we really blame him for that?
No, yeah, that wasn't his fault. Like, Daniel, if you want to send us a better picture that we can review next week, maybe if that's what you really want. I was also thinking about this, and I was imagining, like, what if our podcast got really popular and then people got mad at this segment? I'd be like, what are you mad about? Straight white men objectifying other straight white men? Like,
yeah, that'd be super weird. Like, if you found a way to be offended at that and then explained it to me, I would still think you're an idiot, but at least I would know why you're an idiot.
Like, how do you get offended at, like, I guess you could be mad at us as straight white men objectifying something, but the fact that we'd be objectifying other straight white men, that just kind of like nullifies your argument, where it's like,
yeah,
unless it's like some argument that we're putting ourselves on like a, like we've stooped to objectifying ourselves, because I don't know, it's fine. Again, that would only be if this gets popular.
All I know, Jonathan, is that I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's
all I know. That's all I know.
That is a 6 out of 10 fine ass. And I think that'll be it for this segment for this week. So then, thank you for listening to our podcast. Any closing thoughts, Gabe?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So, if you guys enjoyed it, let us. Oh, what was that, Gabe?
Oh yeah, watch Revenge of the Sith to
yes.
see that live action scene and its true emotional depth.
Yeah, and then look at buying the Lego set. That's not product placement or anything. I'm just trying to convince you to make good life decisions, including but not limited to buying Legos. That's always a good life decision. And then actually, like, legitimate thing, go watch Community. Maybe go listen to The Darkest Timeline if you've already watched Community. I'd recommend looking up Fallout New Vegas. It'll be an entertaining time. Maybe we can. I don't want to make Gabe do a Let's Play just because, like, I tried doing that with Minecraft, and that's a lot of work. Go look at someone who. Okay, maybe Gabe will make us a Let's Play, and then we can watch
Yeah,
Gabe.
totally. I'll make the game absolute hell for me, and you can watch me suffer for 24 hours.
It's a 24-hour live stream, and by the end, Gabe has just gone. It's like his hair has turned white from stress, and
I will be
just
crying
sitting,
at the end.
He's just. We watch Gabe go into emotional turmoil, and then like Gabe just shuts his like webcam off really hurriedly, and we're just like, "Who's the closest person nearby? Can we make sure Gabe's not going to do anything drastic?" They walk in, and Gabe's making himself a cocktail with like bleach just pouring into the. And we're like, Gabe, no.
Nah, it would just be copious amounts of alcohol. Don't worry.
All right, but yeah, so maybe we'll convince Gabe to do that. But in the end, thank you for listening to our podcast. Remember this word "r"; it's very important for communism because communism is a meme.
Wait, no. What's the?
Yes.
Is that the communist thing?
Yeah. I actually looked that up earlier today. There, communism.
Communism.
All right. Well, thank you, and I'm gonna stop the recording now.
Yeah.